Hi everybody, my name is Dave Dunbar. I'm National Sales Manager at General Pipe Cleaners, and welcome to our seminar, Making Money with Water Jetters. So let's get started. First of all, the agenda, what are we going to talk about? First of all, what is a high pressure water jetter drain cleaning system? What are they? And when do you use it, as opposed to another tool that you might have? And third, do's and don'ts for using a jetter, ways that you can use them to be more effective and things you should avoid. So first, what is a jetter? Well, we start with a pump like this. This is a schematic of a pump that we use in one of our jetters, and it's the same pump that you might see on a pressure washer. The pressure washer pumps and drain cleaning jetter pumps are pretty much identical, with one big exception we'll get to later. So we start with a pump. Then we have a specialized hose, because you can't use the same hose you use on a pressure washer. It goes from the pressure washer to the spray wand. This hose is actually going to be going down the drain. It has to be a lot more durable. It's going to go through more wear and tear. The walls of the hose have to be thicker, and it has to be slick on the outside so it goes down the pipe a little bit more easily. Okay, so a specialized hose. Specialized nozzles also. They can't be forward-facing nozzles. They have to be backward-facing nozzles. The stream of water has to come out of the back of the nozzle, so it pulls the hose down the drain. That's where we get the name jetter. So backward-facing specialized nozzles. Now the big thing I alluded to before, it has to have a way to vibrate the hose. This is where the pumps are slightly different. You know, when people first started using high pressure water to clean drains, they would just take a drain, take a pressure washer, they put a hose and a backward-facing nozzle, put it down the drain, and they were noticing that a fairly high percentage of the time it was getting stuck in the drain, okay, because the surface friction of the hose, rubber hose in a lot of cases, with the surface of the pipe. Now, when you get a hose caught in the drain, it's the beginning of a bad day. I mean, there's no easy way to get it out, right? You have to dig up the pipe. So we want to avoid that. That's why literally everybody that's in this market, everybody that makes high pressure water jetters for drain cleaning has a way to vibrate the hose while it's in use. It interrupts the water flow, or it does something to vibrate the flow of water so that the hose vibrates. That breaks up the surface friction between the hose and the sides of the pipe, so you can get to places that you couldn't get to otherwise, and more importantly, you get back. Okay, so if you're going to get a jetter, no matter what kind, make sure there is a way to vibrate the hose. We call our process Vibra-pulse, but there's lots of different things out there. Make sure you can vibrate the hose. Now, pressure and flow. A jetter produces both pressure and flow. For example, in the picture here, the one he's using would produce 4 gallon a minute flow at 3,000 psi. So we find that after a certain point, after you get to about 3,000 psi, for example, the flow is a lot more important than the pressure. So for example, if you wanted to get a jetter that did a better job at cleaning drains or bigger drains, probably still use 3,000 psi, but we might have the flow rate go up to 5.5 or 8 or 12. So flow ends up being more important than pressure, although both of them are essential components of what it takes to clean a drain from the inside out. Okay? So pressure and flow is what you're doing. So this is a video of one of our devices, actually the one you just saw in the picture before, cleaning out a 4-inch line that's been caked with grease. You can see how it just sort of scours the inside of the pipe and cleans it away, leaving it clean, leaving it almost like brand new. And we'll see that a little bit better a little bit later. But you can see the action here, forward and back, and it just cleans it out really well. So when should I use a jetter as opposed to something else I might have in my truck? Well, when it's a soft obstruction. So it's important to know the differences between soft and hard stoppages. What's a hard obstruction? Well, it could be a root. It could be a paper product that's lodged in the pipe. It might be something else that's been dropped down the pipe. Something hard, okay? What's a soft obstruction? Well, that could be grease. It could be sludge. It could be sand. It could even be ice. Something soft. And there's a lot of grease that's coming up today's world that we'll talk about more later. So soft obstructions actually do better with jetters. It's the right tool for the job when it comes to soft obstructions. The reason is that when you go into, let's say, a grease clog with a snake-style machine, if you look at the pictures on the bottom left, for example, you have a pipe that the before picture has it just completely filled up with grease. The second picture is what it looks like after a snake has poked its way through it. And that's what it does. It pokes a hole through the obstruction. But you see there's still a lot of grease there. And what will happen after a certain period of time is that that clog will re-heal. That's what they call it. It heals back up. The grease moves around and it reforms the blockage. So if you go in with a snake, you might open a drain that's been clogged by grease, but then they might call you in another few days to come back out because it's clogged again. Okay, well, it's because it's not the right tool for the job. What is? Well, a jetter. You look at the before and after on the right-hand side, the before picture completely blocked up with grease. Afterwards, though, going through with a jetter, it looks like a new pipe, right? It's completely clean, completely clear. So one of the big advantages of a jetter is when you have something that you think is a grease clog, and that could be anywhere where grease has been going down a drain or a sink or a food service or an industrial situation, or when you have sand in the pipe or some other type of sludge, the jetter is the better tool for the job because it's going to open it up, it's going to clean it, it's going to clean it in a way where it won't reclog. Okay, so you do a better job, you can make more money. So again, grease, sand, ice. I don't know how big a problem ice will be for you guys. I have no way of knowing. However, if you do find yourself in a situation, it will go through ice as well. Okay, here's a picture of one of our devices melting its way through a big block of ice. And there's some exceptions to this hard and soft stoppage thing. First of all, you can take one of our bigger jetters or a bigger jetter that has a considerable amount of flow and pressure, and you can use a chainsaw nozzle on it like what we have here. These will convert the kinetic energy of the water going down the hose, the flow and the pressure that is building up, into rotational energy that can be used to spin through and chop up any obstruction down the drain. These chainsaw nozzles can spin at 20 to 30,000 RPM, and they can buzz through almost anything out there. And they're not cheap. They can be as expensive as a medium-sized snake-style machine, but they convert your jetter into something you can do both hard and soft stoppages. So keep that in mind. There are exceptions to every rule. So let's talk a little bit about some do's and don'ts. First of all, when you're jetting out a drain, when you have the hose down the drain, keep it moving. Keep it moving to a rhythm. We recommend 2 feet in, 1 foot back, 2 feet in, 1 foot back. And that way you continue to go down the drain slowly and surely, coming back, every time you go forward, and keep it to a rhythm. Okay? Hopefully your rhythm is better than this guy's, but keep it to a rhythm. 2 foot in, 1 foot back. If you don't keep it moving, what can happen is the vortex of high pressure water that forms behind the nozzle can actually displace sand or grease or something into a clog that's almost solid. You won't be able to get through it. You won't be able to pull the hose back. So always keep it moving when it's down the drain. If you have the unit on, keep the hose moving, forward, back, okay? Be careful of sharp edges. Now, this is common sense, but boy, I'll tell you, we see a lot of hoses come back here for some sort of repair where they've been cut. Even before they go into the drain sometimes, just going around a bend or, going down the lip of the pipe, they can get cut. But a hose is not a snake. It can be cut. And so you have to be careful of sharp edges as best as you can. You want to avoid cavitation. Keep that water flowing. Cavitation is when you starve the pump of water. So the pump has one job really, and that is to produce a constant outflow of water. For example, the pump we were talking about before had 4 gallon a minute flow, and it had 3,000 psi. Well, 4 gallon a minute is what it's going to produce come hell or high water, and you better be giving it 4 gallon a minute on the input side, or else it's going to create vacuums inside the pump, which can tear it apart. A lot of pumps actually die this way. A lot of them are damaged to the point where they have to be replaced. So keep the water flowing. Now, what can you do about this? Let's say you're in a situation where you're not sure about the water flow. Maybe you have a cistern that you're working out of, or well water, or some other situation where you're just not sure what kind of water flow you're getting. Well, then test it first. Get a bucket. You know how big it is. Get a hose from the water supplies you're going to use. Get a watch and measure. Are you getting 4 gallon a minute? Are you getting whatever flow you need in order to conform to the specs that are on that pump? Make sure you have enough water so that you don't cavitate the pump. You can damage or completely destroy it otherwise. And don't freeze up. Again, not sure how much of a problem this is going to be, but if you find yourself in a situation where the temperature might go below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius, make sure that you don't have any water in your pump. Either force it all out with air or use antifreeze to get something else in there, because water expands when it freezes. Okay? And if it expands while it's inside your pump, it's going to destroy your pump from the inside out. So don't freeze up. Okay? Be careful of low temperature situations if you have water in your pump. Routine maintenance. So routine maintenance is very important. Basically, we recommend that after 20 hours, you double check to make sure that the oil, which is in the back side of the pump, is where it should be. And even you can change the oil after the first 20 hours. We recommend this. And then every 500 hours after that, we recommend that you do maintenance on the pump. And there's a couple things to watch for. First of all, this thing back here, where I've just put a circle around, is a ceramic plunger. It sort of goes on this piece, and it goes forward through the pump, comes out this hole in the front. Okay? And then these things that look like O-rings go around it, go around the plunger, and they keep the water on one side and the oil on the other. Very important. And they wear out. Okay? So it's something to keep an eye on. You know, you want to make sure that these seals, which we call V-packing or seals, are replaced on a regular basis. Also, you have valves that are in the front part of the pump. Okay? These valves keep the water moving in the right direction. They keep it from coming back when the plunger retracts. And they're instrumental to having this pump work the way it should. If a valve fails for any reason, either mechanical failure or let's say they're getting some sand in there or dirt or something, some impurity, some particle gets in the valve that keeps it from working, you can have a drastic reduction in your pressure almost instantly. And depending on how many valves fail, you might lose all your pressure. So we recommend looking at your valves every once in a while, making sure that they are in good condition. So routine maintenance, the oil, the V-packing or seals, and the valves need to be looked at on a regular basis. We recommend at least, after first 20 hours, take a look at everything, make sure everything is okay. And then after that, yearly or every 500 hours. Okay, so routine maintenance, very important for a pump. If you take care of these things, they will last for years and years, decades, okay? Because the body of the pump is actually quite sturdy. The only thing you have to replace are the soft pieces, okay, the valves and the seals, okay? And make sure you keep it filled with oil. 30 weight non-detergent is what we recommend in the back of the pump. So let's talk about a special case of using jetters with camera systems. This is where a lot of jetters really make a lot of money for people. There's a lot of people out there that are using camera systems along with their drain cleaning trucks in order to find reasons why they can do pipe replacement. Okay? There's only a few reasons why a pipe would fail on a chronic basis. And some of these have to do with things that could be a good rationale for basically digging up the pipe and putting a new pipe down or relining it from the inside out. And these can be very lucrative for a plumber or a drain cleaner, but only if you can get a good look at the pipe. So we recommend going down with a jetter first and then doing your inspection, because then you'll be able to see the imperfections in the pipe that might lead to an additional job that you have a solution for. Okay? So getting a good view down the pipe. It's a good way to enhance your money-making opportunities with a camera and a jetter being used together. Before and after. So let's say you go in with your camera and you see a pipe that's completely clogged up with grease. And then you jet it out, and then you go into your camera afterwards and you take another set of pictures of what it looks like now, which is like a new pipe. Well, this can help you in marketing your services for preventative maintenance jobs, which is another really good way to make money with your jetter. Restaurants, food service, anything with an industrial application that produces grease. If you can sell them on the idea of you going in every few months and doing a jetter job before they have an emergency so that their pipe ends up looking like the example on the right, and you can show them the picture before and after, you have sold your services. Okay, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Preventative maintenance is always better than emergency management, right? So preventative maintenance is another great way that you can make money with your jetter. And just go in with your camera, make a few pictures like this in their facility, and show them what kind of difference you can make with a jetter as opposed to going in with a snake. Sometimes you might want to, if you have a camera system, you might want to go more than 100, 200 feet, and you can't push it that far. So you can attach your camera an arm's length away from the jetter nozzle, and then you can pull the camera down the drain using the jetting power of your jetter system. Okay, so it's a way to give your camera a helping hand, and it comes in handy. This is something that people use all the time. So we like to say that jetters and cameras go together like peanut butter and jelly. They complement each other, and some things in life are like that. Without a camera, you don't know what a great job you've done with a jetter. And you can't show it to other people. Without a jetter, you can't really see down the pipe as well as you'd like to, especially if you're trying to sell big pipe replacement jobs. So they go together. They complement each other really, really well. Now, a word about small jetters, because we say that small jetters are the next big thing. And the reason for that is the problem of kitchen grease in today's world. Be it in houses, private houses, multifamily dwellings, resorts, anything. We're finding that 50 to 75% of the grease, which is actually gumming up today's world and causing problems, is within 10 to 15 feet of a kitchen sink. So portability becomes an issue because this grease is never making it outside where you can get at it with a big jetter. It goes into big pipes. We need something that can go into small pipes, negotiate the twists and turns that are there. So small jetters that are portable and can be taken to the job site are becoming very, very profitable for people. So again, little jetters, small jetters are the next big thing because of kitchen grease. So in summary, we've talked about a lot of ways you can make a lot of money with jetters. First of all, how they fit into the tools you might have now, how they're more effective at clearing a soft stoppage like grease than snakes. We've talked about preventative maintenance, and how these can be very lucrative contracts to get, and how it makes it easier to sell one by using a camera to show before and after. And talking about cameras, we talked about how they go together and how they work together effectively, how they can actually help you sell more pipe replacement jobs by giving you a better view down the pipe. And we talked about how small jetters are the next big thing, how 50 to 75% of the grease that's coming up today's world is within about 10-15 feet of a kitchen sink down the drain, and how small jetters, by being more portable and nimble, allow you to get at them. So we really appreciate you attending this webinar and hope that you got a lot out of it. We look forward to your questions, and if you need to get a hold of us, well, you can call 412-771-6300 and ask for customer service. Check out our website also at drainbrain.com. It has videos on a lot of different topics, and it will help you get the most out of your jetter or any other drain cleaning equipment. Thanks a lot. We really appreciate you tuning into this webinar, and we hope it's useful for you. If you have any other questions, let us know. Thanks a lot, and good luck.